There are rivalries born in stadiums, and rivalries born at the dinner table. Imagine a mother and father sitting in the stands of a packed stadium in Buenos Aires. The air is thick with the scent of grilled chorizo and the deafening roar of 50,000 screaming fans. On the pitch, two men are locked in a confrontation so heated that the referee has to step in. They are screaming in each other's faces. One is trying to get the other sent off. The other is hacking at his opponent's ankles with surgical malice. In the early 2000s, the Avellaneda Derby, the clash between Racing Club and Independiente, became a Milito family affair. Diego, the elder by 14 months, was the prince, the striker for Racing. Gabriel, the younger, was the precocious captain and defensive general for Independiente. In one particular match, the rivalry reached a boiling point. Diego was goal-bound. Gabriel hauled him down. Diego screamed for a red card. Gabriel called his brother a crybaby, using language that would make their mother blush. It got so bad that their parents and their respective girlfriends actually stood up and walked out of the stadium. They couldn't watch anymore. This wasn't just football rivalry. This was something deeper, something more intimate, something far more painful. Yet despite the red cards, despite the injuries, despite the moments where they stood on opposite sides of history, Diego and Gabriel Milito would go on to share something few brothers ever do. Champions League nights, international heartbreak, career-threatening injuries, and moments of glory that placed one brother among football's immortals, while the other quietly endured, rebuilt, and led. This is the story of the Milito brothers. A story of two men who spent their lives kicking lumps out of each other, only to become the backbone of the greatest club teams in the world. It is a story of one brother who became the ultimate assassin in Madrid, and another who fought silent, heartbreaking war against his own body. To understand the fire, we have to go back to the beginning. In the suburbs of Buenos Aires, the Milito household was divided by colors. Diego, born in 1979, was the elder. He was nicknamed El Príncipe, the prince, because he bore an uncanny resemblance to the Uruguayan legend Enzo Franciscoli. He was lean, elegant, and possessed a suspicious ability to vanish for 89 minutes only to appear at the exact second a ball needed to be poked into the net. Gabriel, born in 1980, was different. He didn't care for the elegance of the goal. He found his joy in the prevention of it. By the age of 22, he wasn't just playing for Independiente, he was the captain. He was a leader of men while he still had the face of a teenager. When the Avellaneda Derby finally placed them on the same pitch, it was never going to end peacefully. Think about the psychology of you growing up together, you sharing everything, and then you are tasked with destroying your brother's professional dreams. In one derby, Diego actually managed to get himself sent off after an altercation sparked by Gabriel's expert teasing. Gabriel knew exactly which buttons to push. He'd been pushing them since they were toddlers. Diego danced. Gabriel disrupted. Every run met a body. Every smile met a shove. And then, the moment. Diego Milito was sent off. Not for brutality, but for being baited, pushed and humiliated. The next derby was worse. Tackles flew. Words were exchanged. Words that brothers should never say. And in the stands, their parents couldn't take it. They left early. That was the cost of the rivalry. Yet off the pitch, the Militos were inseparable. They shared meals. They shared dreams. They shared Europe-bound ambitions. And soon, they would leave Argentina together. In 2003, Europe came knocking. Real Madrid called first, while David Beckham dazzled cameras. Gabriel Milito nearly became Madrid's second signing of the summer. Nearly. As it sounds, but it never materialized. Medical doubts over his knee ended the dream before it began. Instead, Real Zaragoza took a gamble, and it paid off. Gabriel became captain, leader, and anchor. Meanwhile, Diego's path was even stranger. While Gabriel was in La Liga, Diego found himself in the Italian second division, Serie B, with Genoa. It seemed beneath him, but Diego didn't care for the limelight. He went to the Italian coast and started scoring. He scored 33 goals in 59 games. In 2005, Diego led Genoa to the Serie B title. The fans were delirious. A decade-long wait for top-flight football was over. But within days, the ecstasy gave way to bewilderment. Allegations of match-fixing surfaced. A suitcase full of cash in a game against Venezia that looked too easy, and suddenly, the Italian authorities descended. Genoa wasn't promoted. They were relegated to the third tier. Diego was innocent of personal wrongdoing but caught in the crossfire. He had to get out. The destination? Real Zaragoza. Finally, for the first time in their professional lives, the brothers were on the same side. At Zaragoza, the chemistry was telepathic. In 2006, they demolished Real Madrid 6-1 in the Copa del Rey, with Diego scoring 4 goals. The younger brother was defending the fort, the older brother was burning down the oppositions. But football is a fickle beast. Their paths diverged again. Gabriel's brilliance earned him a move to the mighty Barcelona under Frank Rijkaard and later, Pep Guardiola. Diego, after Zaragoza's shock relegation, returned to Genoa to prove he was the best striker in Italy. Then came 2010. The year the Milito names were etched into eternity, but for very different reasons. For Gabriel, 2010 was a recovery ward. He had suffered a catastrophic cruciate ligament injury in 2008. He spent 602 days in the shadows. Think about that. Nearly 2 years of watching his teammates, Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, conquer the world while he struggled to walk without a limp. He was the forgotten Milito. For Diego, 2010 was the perfect storm. He had moved to Jose Mourinho's Inter Milan. He was the spearhead of a team of streetwise artists and vagabonds. In the semi-finals of the Champions League, the brothers met again. Inter Milan versus Barcelona. Mourinho versus Guardiola. Diego versus Gabriel. Diego won the battle, leading Inter to the final. But the true masterpiece happened at the Santiago Bernabeu, the very stadium that had rejected Gabriel years earlier. On that balmy night in Madrid, Champions League final, against Bayern Munich, Diego Milito didn't just play. He painted 2 goals. The first, a display of strength and a delicate chip. The second, a move that left world-class defenders in a state between slow motion and statue reflex. Diego Milito handed Inter the treble. He was the hero of Europe. And yet, one of his first phone calls was to the brother who had spent those 602 days in agony. As the legs grew heavy and the injuries mounted, both brothers felt the pull of the South Atlantic. Gabriel returned first to his beloved Independiente in 2011. His body was spent, but his mind was already moving toward coaching. Diego followed a few years later, returning to Racing Club to lead them to one last championship in 2014. In May 2016, the story came full circle. Diego played his final professional game. A few miles away, Gabriel was being announced as the manager of Independiente. They started as rivals in the streets of Avellaneda. They conquered Europe as enemies and teammates. And they ended exactly where they began. The Milito brothers weren't just players. They were 2 sides of the same Argentine soul. One was the shield, the other the sword. They taunted each other. They kicked each other, and they loved each other fiercely. Diego may have the trophies, the Champions League goals, and the fairy tale ending. But he would be the first to tell you that he never would have been the prince without the captain pushing him every step of the way. They will forever be gifted teammates, bitter rivals, and above all, brothers. They fought like enemies. They loved like family. And together, Diego and Gabriel Milito remind us, Football doesn't just create legends. Sometimes, it reveals the deepest bonds of all.